I designed these 3 custom engagement rings, and I'm curious which style you would choose if you were going with an oval cut diamond. Now, if you're watching this now and you haven't found the perfect ring, I suspect it's because you don't want to do it wrong, or you want to make sure that you know all the best tips and tricks in order to get her the perfect ring. Am I right? I don't want you to get stuck in paralysis by analysis. So if you're looking for an oval cut diamond ring and you're unsure of what style she may like, these examples will serve as inspiration. Okay, let's dive in. First, we'll talk about a halo design, and then we'll cover a solitaire, both pave and smooth. And third, we're gonna go over a 3-stone design. Now, I'm gonna explain what makes each design unique and specific features and details that I incorporate into each style to maximize the sparkle. And honestly, this is the reason that my clients say their rings sparkle more than any other rings they see. Oh, and we're also gonna talk about whether or not there's room for customization in case you could design your own dream ring. I'm Vanessa from Vanessa Nicole Jewels, where I create custom engagement rings for clients all over the world, and this is my bench. And oh, before I forget, if you're as excited as I am about finding that perfect engagement ring, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more inspiring content so you don't miss the new videos. So this is my bench. I'm a master diamond setter by trade. I absolutely love setting diamonds, especially the center diamond, because it's basically the heart of the ring. And when she sees that ring for the first time and you open that ring box, oh my gosh, it's such an incredible moment, and just chills flood her body. And I really want to maximize the effect of when you are about to propose, and you're gonna be feeling nerves, and she's gonna be feeling nerves once she sees and realizes what you're doing. So I really want, when you open that box and she sees it for the first time, to just have this incredible wash of this feeling of, wow, wait, I get to wear this ring? Are you kidding me? So, I mean, I'm assuming the yes is already a given, and that she would wear a ring pop on her finger if you propose, at least if you're in the right relationship where she would say yes no matter what. But to give her a ring, no, I should say to gift her with a ring that just completely knocks her socks off and just she can't believe that she gets to wear it. That is what I love to deliver. So keep watching and let's dive in. The first style we're going to talk about is the oval halo. Now this is one of my specialties because in particular the seamless halo, which is built to be structurally tight around that center diamond. So whatever diamond size you ultimately choose, if you want a halo ring where it just has this seamless sparkle across your finger, you're not going to be noticing a dark gap in between the center diamond and that halo. That is what's called a seamless halo, and it just makes it so spectacular because your eye, when you're looking at it in the lighting, it just doesn't end where the sparkle starts and ends. It's just all sparkle. And so that is my goal on making sure that that halo is going to be proportional to that center diamond, that it doesn't overpower it, and also that it ensures that it's just incredible sparkle all around. Now, when you have a halo ring, there are other factors to consider, such as the proportion of the halo, as I mentioned. Some people do like a more flower type of halo. In this particular case, the traditional seamless halo is more petite next to that center diamond, so we're not overpowering the diamond. It's not its own large design feature where the diamonds are large around the diamond, creating almost like a scalloped flower effect. This is really just giving the illusion that the diamond is a little bit bigger. And when you have that seamless effect, your eye just focuses on a lot larger amounts of sparkle rather than the exact size of your center oval diamond. Now take a look at these very thin, sleek claw prongs. This is one of my specialties and a style of prongs that I absolutely adore because when you are noticing it in real life with the reflections, what you'll notice is that it blends in very nicely with the triangular facets of the diamond. Another feature that I add to all of my halo rings is making sure that the diamonds are set incredibly close together. Now, if you look at certain designs, you'll notice that the diamonds on the halo and the band are spaced farther apart. There are benefits for that in terms of mass manufactured settings that allows for a little bit more flexibility when it comes to setting certain size stones. But when you're making a custom ring, no matter what jeweler you go to, it does offer the opportunity to set those diamonds incredibly close together. And what that's going to do is long term, a lot of dirt and soap suds, things that are dark and grimy aren't going to get stuck in there quite as easily. So you see the diamond and the sparkling white face up more than you see the dark gaps in between those diamonds. It's very obvious long term once you're wearing your ring to see that it just It just doesn't quite face up quite as bright as a ring that has diamonds set incredibly close together. Now, another thing that if you take a look at this particular design here, looking at this oval halo ring, this has a wedding band next to it. Now, this particular client, this is a 2 carat in the center. She wanted to have a diamond band that had contrast. So we went over a couple of different band width options. She originally wanted a band that was the same width as her engagement ring. So the shank on the engagement ring is the same width as the band. Then she thought, maybe I want a little bit larger. Let's splurge a little bit. And then she saw this and thought, how big could we go? And so we actually ended up making it even larger than this. And then this is the ultimate design that she selected. So this was a great example because this is one version where it shows a matching band. Some people like to have a matching diamond band, and this will be the computer rendering of how both rings look side by side. And then this shows the options for the width of the wedding band. And ultimately the price on the wedding band is going to be determined by how much carat weight is on there. And she just decided to splurge since it's her one engagement and wedding ring set that she wanted to make sure that it looked exactly how she wanted. So this is how that turned out. This is a colorless, gorgeous center diamond that's 2 carat next to this beautiful floating diamond band. Now, if you take a look at other halo styles when it comes to ovals, this is a split shank. Now, this is partly what makes this particular ring unique in that it splits and has this very beautiful dramatic curve. Now, you'll notice this is a very interesting, unique side view. This particular client chose what is called a Euro shank, which actually allows it to stabilize on the finger a little bit more so that when it tilts side to side, this corner, if you will catch on the finger and not allow it to spin all the way around. You don't see it quite so much here in the United States, but it is an option that we can add to your ring, whether the diamonds stop halfway or go 3/4 down. And speaking of, you'll notice on this ring, the diamonds extend 3/4 down. And the purpose of this is so that when the ring does sway side to side, which it will because it's top heavy, you're only going to see diamond. Whereas if you have a ring like this, because there's metal here, you will see a little bit of metal when this tilts side to side. Now, it does cost a little bit more to have the diamonds extend 3/4 of the way down, but it's just up to you what parts of your ring that you wish to splurge on. And this one also has diamonds on the bridge as well. And you might notice a little pop of blue right there. That is an incredible feature called the hidden gem inside the ring. Now, this is a feature that only the couple knows about. It can be a birthstone, size permitting, of course. In this case, it's a sapphire, and the location of it is going to be entirely dependent on the style of the design. So in some cases, I will be setting it right under here if it's a straight shank, and we'll set that sapphire or whichever, whether it's an emerald or an amethyst or a ruby, we'll set that under here. And then in other cases where it's a split shank, such as this one, we would put it at this 3/4 point right here. And this is also where we would add an engraving as well if the client wanted that. Now, let's talk about another customization idea that you might not have considered, which is a 2-tone setting. So take a look at this. This is a 2-tone rose gold and platinum halo, and it just adds a very unique touch to this particular style of design. And here it is in the finished result. It looks absolutely stunning. And this particular client specifically wanted a 2-tone ring. This could be yellow gold or rose gold. It's completely up to you. While this is a CAD rendering, it does show very, very rosy, but this is really just to indicate the different colors. It's not necessarily specific to the exact color the final result will be, because this is the final result in metal of what that is. But this is something to consider if you want that just a unique touch that you hadn't considered before. But I would recommend, if you're going with a 2-tone, that it's something that she has already specifically said she loves, because this is a bit of a risk if you don't know that she already wants that. So I hope this was helpful when it comes to oval halos. Now let's go on to the oval solitaire. Now we're gonna cover pavé and smooth because both options are absolutely stunning, and it really depends on what type of style you think she would most prefer. So the first style is pavé. This is going to have diamonds going down the sides, and it's gorgeous. It adds an extra pop of sparkle. It's totally up to you if you want to have the diamonds going down the sides or keeping this shank smooth. Now, some ways to customize this type of design are adding a hidden halo underneath. So visibly from the top, you don't notice it, but from the side, there is that added pop of sparkle. So here's an example of the final result and how this particular design turned out. This was the CAD rendering. That means it's a computer model of the design based on the dimensions of the stones that we're going to be using. And then this was the final result. So something you'll notice that's different between the CAD rendering and the final result is in the CAD model, often the prongs will look a little bit bulkier than they do in the final result. I hand sculpt each one of these individually, whereas in the computer rendering, it's really just the software placing them down to give the illusion that it's going to be a claw prong, so that way you have a strong understanding of the general style of the design. And so this is the side view, and then this is the final result as well. Here's another example of a smaller oval diamond, and you'll notice that this particular style is what's called cathedral. So this style of having a cathedral effect along the side means that the diamonds extend up to that support bar here, whereas this one is fully round in that traditional sense. So it's completely up to you if you prefer. I know a lot of women, depending upon how large their center diamond is, they actually don't like having this angle right here because it can catch on things. And so they don't mind having this beautiful cathedral effect because it adds an extra layer of support, so nothing can essentially catch in this section right here. And here's another option of the oval being completely round with a hidden halo. And this particular client wanted to have straight wedding bands. Because the diamond is set low into the setting and not raised super high up, the wedding bands will have an ever so slight gap because they will rub against these prongs here. Now, the benefit of setting the diamond low is if the client is going to be having gloves on her fingers, or she's going to be in a position where she works with her hands a lot, it is beneficial to lower the center diamond closer to the finger as much as possible. But that will often result in the wedding band having a slight gap between the engagement ring, such as this. Now, keep in mind that the prongs here aren't going to be lifted like that. This is simply just software. But in the final ring, the prongs are beautifully laid down over that center diamond. It's completely up to you if you prefer to have diamonds on the hidden halo or keeping it smooth. There's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on what your preference is. Now let's talk about the classics. This is an oval solitaire with a smooth shank. It is timeless, classic, absolutely stunning, and all of the attention is kept on that main center diamond. Whether you go with a white colored metal such as platinum or white gold, or yellow gold, whether that's 14 karat yellow or 18 karat yellow, or possibly even rose gold, either way, it's going to look absolutely stunning, and you better make sure that that diamond is top notch. So we can definitely talk about the qualities in an oval cut diamond that you really need to keep in mind when you are looking for one. And I've done videos on that before, but in this case, I want to specifically talk about the design. So in this case, we have an oval solitaire design. The band is fully round and the support bar here is smooth. That diamond is set embedded into the band, which will provide the maximum amount of support for a design like this with that diamond. Here was a behind the scenes image right before I set that center diamond. So I'm a master diamond setter by trade. I absolutely love setting diamonds, and this is my bench behind the scenes here. Now this one is also the similar style, but one difference between this one is obviously the color of metal. So you'll notice on this design also there's a little bit of a knife edge effect going on here. Now when I say knife edge, that does not mean that it's going to be uncomfortable, but one of my signature styles of a solitaire is half round and half knife edge. So the top half being knife edge, and then at the halfway point, it starts to fade into this half round design. A lot of my clients love that look because from the top view, it looks very sleek. You can especially notice it at that 3/4 angle. And it does have a visual trick of making that center diamond appear larger than it actually is when you have that knife edge effect going on. That being said, some people just love to have that half round style of band, and then this is what the result of that would be right before I'm setting that diamond. So I always make sure to polish the inside of that rail because you can't re-polish it once it's set, and I really love to make sure that everything is beautiful, even the parts that you cannot see underneath the diamond. I truly believe that it helps to maximize the overall brilliance. Now, when it comes to having a more modern, contemporary feel, if you take a look at this design, this particular client wanted everything to be as angular and squared off as possible. However, one thing to keep in mind here is I did create a comfort fit edge on the inside of the band. So no matter what we do on the outside profile edge, by keeping this interior slightly comfort fit, it is going to be more comfortable on her finger. A lot of mass manufactured settings they're just very crisp and angular here on this inner leading edge. And when you make it comfort fit, it just overall, as a woman who wears rings, I promise you it feels so much better on your finger when you're squeezing your finger shut. So it's completely up to you what you prefer. And then here is one more design I want to talk to you about with this oval solitaire style. So this is the behind the scenes right before I'm about to set this particular ring, and take a look at the design that we created here. So this is the knife edge along the top, and this is the half round on the bottom. Now, one thing you'll notice that this has the cathedral effect and that hidden halo. This particular client wanted his ring that he was going to propose with to the love of his life. He wanted her to be able to have that center diamond set as low to the finger as possible. And by doing that, then we have these prongs that come out a little bit further. And I make sure that this donut underneath, if you were to look underneath, it's just this open hole here. I make sure to mimic the shape of that diamond, so that way it's not as if you have a round or a square hole there when you have an oval diamond. I really like to keep everything harmonious and symmetrical as possible. So this has this oval shaped donut underneath, which allows us to set that diamond even lower. And that is perfect for her lifestyle and her job, which is a wonderful component of custom design. The third style of an oval engagement ring that we're going to cover today is the 3-stone oval design. Now, one of the unique factors of this design is that you can select any type of side stone shape that you prefer to go along with that oval center diamond. So you'll notice on this particular design, this has a large 4-carat oval in the center, and we have marquise set along the side. Whereas some people actually prefer having the pear shape along the side. There is no right or wrong. It's really just a matter of your preference ultimately long term of what you want to see on your finger. Either way, it's very important to color match those diamonds next to that center diamond, because if the side stones aren't properly color matched to that center diamond, you will notice that something is off. Because it's interesting, because for a design that is so simple, it really needs to be taken care of in a way that is beautiful and harmonious, and have everything symmetrical and all of the lines be incredibly clean. Now, one of the things I want to point out about diamonds is that they change based on the lighting that your ring is in. So if you take a look at this design, this is in slightly lower lighting, and this particular design is in slightly brighter lighting. And diamonds are going to shift and change in coloring and shadowing effects as you're in different lighting scenarios. So in direct sunlight, diamonds all get a little bit darker, but that is where you're going to see the pop and the fire and the sparkle. And in a light like this, where it's just bright fluorescent lighting, it looks a little bit different than it would in diffused lighting, such as this, where everything gets very, very white. Taking a look at some other options, this is an oval ring with a smaller oval in the center, and this one has pears on the side. And what I want to point out about this particular design is this crown effect along the side, because a ring like this does need to have some sort of support along the side view. But that is one of the fun parts about designing a custom ring, is that you can really modify the design according to what style you think that she would prefer. So in this particular crown effect, it really has this regal elegance to it. And here's another style of ring, the main difference being that this particular client wanted double claw prongs. Structurally, it doesn't need it, but just from a visual perspective, this client wanted to have double claw prongs just for that added touch of elegance. But she also really liked the idea of having this regal crown effect as well. Now, after we did the CAD model, and she really loved having this double claw prongs, ultimately, she did decide to go back down to single prongs. And that's one of the best parts about the computer rendering stage, is that when you see it, you can say, oh, I either love it, or maybe there's something that I would actually want to change. So the initial design had the double claw prongs, but the final result had single claw prongs. And either way, it looked absolutely stunning. It's really just a matter of which you prefer to see long term. Now, if you wanted to go with a traditional 3-stone ring where this is straight, we absolutely can do that. And this is how that looks along the side here. You'll notice that I set these diamonds with my signature claw prongs. This styling of prongs does take longer. I do it by hand, and it's very important that it be done with a beautiful sense of harmony and structure, because you don't want them to be mismatched. There are tools for making round beads along the top, but if we can make all of these prongs very, very symmetrical, it looks absolutely stunning. And then because this is a pear cut, we capped it off with this beautiful prong here that's in that chevron shape to match that pear tip. Now, one final side view I want to show you. Now, this one is a little bit of a flyer because I didn't have one with an oval, but I do want to show it to you simply because this side view has this beautiful trellis effect. Now, this can also be done with an oval cut in the center. And I didn't have a final design here with an oval, but I did want to show you how this looks because it's absolutely stunning as well. This particular client wanted a right-hand ring, so we infused all of the beautiful styling and the beautiful curved lines going up to those diamonds, but I wanted us to focus here on this beautiful trellis effect. So whether or not you go with something like this trellis effect or the traditional 3-stone styling or a crown effect, it's completely up to you. And I love hearing about my clients' visions when it comes to their dream design because there are so many options when it comes to a 3-stone ring. If you're looking for your very own custom engagement ring, feel free to reach out to the studio here. This is where I make all the rings. I love learning more about what my clients are looking to make, and I would definitely love to exceed your expectations with it. We get so many messages about how helpful these videos are, and if you'd like to see more of them, please like this video and just subscribe or comment about your favorite part. I'd love to know what you learned from this video. And in the meantime, I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.